Konnichiwa. I am Ono. Today, I'm going to talk about why you not to move to Japan. Japan is an amazing country with a rich culture, beautiful landscapes, and delicious food. However, when it comes to living here, there are some unique challenges and difficulties you might face. In this video, I'll go into detail about the issues you may encounter if you're thinking about moving to Japan. Just because you love Japanese ramen doesn't mean living in Japan will go smoothly. Let's start! Number 1. The language barrier. The first issue is the language barrier. To be honest, English is not widely understood in Japan. While tourist areas are improving in daily life, you will almost always need Japanese. Important tasks like going to the bank, hospital, or city office are usually done in Japanese, which can make life difficult. You can't get by with just sumimasen or konnichiwa. If you go to the doctor and say I have a stomachache, they might ask, why are you talking about Mount Fuji? Number 2. Cultural differences. Japan's unique culture can be challenging when you live here long-term. For instance, social rules and etiquette can be strict and difficult for foreigners to fully understand. Do you know there are 4 types of bows in Japan? A 15-degree bow, a 30-degree bow, a 45-degree bow, and the full-on kneeling dogeza for when you're really sorry. Just make sure you don't start off a first-time meeting with a dogeza. And if you want to learn more about cultural differences between Japan and other countries, check out the video I've linked in the description after you finish watching this one. Number 3. Workplace culture and labor practices. Japanese companies are all about working long hours. And yes, that's pretty much true. Overtime is basically a way of life here, and eating lunch at your desk, staring at your computer is just another day. You might find yourself wondering, wait, what day of the week is it? While things are slowly changing, compared to other countries, Japan still has a culture of long working hours. Plus, many companies still stick to the seniority-based system, so climbing the corporate ladder quickly is rare. Number 4. The risk of natural disasters. Earthquakes? Oh, just hide under the table. That's right. In Japan, people are so used to earthquakes that when the ground shakes, people just drink their tea like it's nothing. Japan experiences over 2,000 earthquakes every year, and some can be quite serious, so you need to be prepared at all times. While buildings in Japan are well prepared for earthquakes, the mental stress of constant tremors can be overwhelming for some people. Number 5. Social isolation. In Japan, there's the word gaijin, which means foreigner. And as a foreigner, you might always feel a bit like an outsider. No matter how fluent you become in Japanese, many foreigners feel like they never truly fit in. Japan is a highly homogeneous society, and you might always be seen as different. This feeling of isolation can be a big source of stress for those living in Japan long-term. Number 6. Housing issues. For foreigners, finding a place to live in Japan can be like trying to complete a mission impossible. First challenge: the guarantor. This is someone who will pay your rent if you can't, and it has to be someone living in Japan. It's awkward to ask a friend or coworker for this favor. And without it, you won't be able to sign a lease. And then there's reikin. Rei means gratitude and ken means money. So basically, this is money you pay to show appreciation to the house, but once you pay it, you never get it back. Furthermore, the small size of Japanese studio apartments is like playing real-life Tetris. Now let me show you all how small my room is.
This is my room. There is a desk, a bookshelf, and many clothing. I always make YouTube on this desk.
My room is really small, but in Japan, many rooms are small because the country is also small. Once you put in a single piece of furniture, there's barely enough space left to live. But don't worry. If you can live without furniture, you might just fit. Number 7. The healthcare system. Japan's healthcare system is advanced, but for foreigners, the language barrier and cultural differences can be a problem. One issue is that there are not many doctors who speak English, and the medical procedures can be very complicated. Also, handling health insurance and communicating with medical staff can be stressful for foreigners. Especially if you have to stay in a hospital in Japan, there are more challenges. Hospital food in Japan is usually very bland and mostly consists of traditional Japanese dishes. For people who aren't used to Japanese food, this can be quite difficult. Number 8. Outdated public services and technology. Japan has a reputation for being technologically advanced, but when it comes to public services, you might feel like you're stuck in the past. For example, banks and government offices often rely on paper-based systems, and you might end up spending ages filling out forms by hand. Even though things are slowly getting more digital, you'll still be surprised by how often you'll find yourself asking, wait, why are they still using fax machines? Number 9. Food culture restrictions. Lastly, let's talk about food. Japanese food is loved worldwide, but there can be some confusion. If you ask, do you have vegetarian or vegan food? The waiter might look confused. And they might say, oh, you want vegetables? How about a salad? But often, that salad will have tuna on it. Wait, isn't tuna a fish? That's not vegan. But in Japan, it seems like tuna is considered a vegetable. If you don't eat pork for religious reasons, it can also be a challenge. Even if you say, I don't eat pork, you might still be served bacon. Because in Japan, for some reason, bacon isn't always considered pork. So, if you come to Japan as a vegan or vegetarian, you'll end up living like a detective, always searching for hidden meat. You'll have to check every ingredient to make sure there's no meat broth in your soup or dishes. If you're not careful, you might find fish-based soy sauce or fish stock sneaking into your food. So, always stay alert. So, that's it for today's topic on why you shouldn't move to Japan. Japan is a country that gets a lot of attention worldwide, but if you're thinking about moving here, you need to consider these challenges carefully. Of course, Japan has many great things to offer, and is a wonderful place for short stays or tourism. However, living here long-term might come with some problems, so it's important to be well prepared. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe my channel. For those living in Japan, let me know in the comments what challenges you're facing. See you in the next video.